This father is an asshole. He left his newborn son at the door of the firehouse and didn't even visit him once for 36 years, until the day he was diagnosed with cancer and only had a month to live. A man slammed the door of his home. Who the hell is not? My name is Randall Pearson. I'm your biological son. 36 years ago, you left me at the front door of a fire station that was raised by two incredible parents. I have a lights-out family of my own, and the car you see parked out in front of your house cost $143,000, and I bought it for cash. You see, I turned out pretty alright, which might surprise a lot of folks, considering the fact that 36 years ago, my life started with you leaving me on a fire station doorstep with nothing more than a ratty blanket and a crap-filled diaper. Faced with 36 years of festering anger from his own son, William didn't know how to apologize. Seems to me you want me to try to make amends so you can say screw you and store body. That's ridiculous. Looking at his dad, who was not speaking with his head down, Randall actually had a touch of heartache inside. He took William back to his cottage and introduced the strange grandfather to his daughters. His wife was a bit surprised because he knew that Randall was there today to get back the grievances he had accumulated over the years. Randall himself felt puzzled. Everything I want to say to do around this man, I did opposite. It's like a bad sitcom. He left me here to find a station, and I invited him into our home. My God, baby, you're cracking up. Daddy, what's happening? What? After dinner, he wanted to keep William at home for the night, and William turned him down, telling Randall he was dying. It was the kind as you've shown me, letting me meet them. Your dad must have been very proud of you. Randall is a little overwhelmed. The biological father he has so easily found is leaving again. He was devastated, but what he couldn't accept was still to come. When his adoptive mother heard that Randall had found his father, she came to his door the next day. He brought me here. But you stayed? Yes, I stayed. We had a deal. Randall was a little surprised that they had met over 30 years ago. The moment he learned this secret, Randall lost control. He cried and asked his foster mother why she hadn't told him the truth earlier. He couldn't forgive William for not coming to see him even though he knew where he was. William revealed to Randall an untold story. You have no record, not so much as a traffic violation, so I must admit I find this arrest. What would you have me do? Your Honor, if you had my life, you probably used to. I am more disappointed. I'm the most disappointed man you've ever met in your whole damn life. He was the young William. A year ago, he was not as disheveled as he is today. He had a loving mother. He was a good writer of poetry and a good musician. Just as he was about to move to the big city, he learned of his mother's cancer. He immediately rushed back home in order to give his mother treatment. The family was already not rich, William more stressful, until a girl appeared in his world like a light. They fell in love at first sight on a bus. Lily admired William's talent and became pregnant with his child. Just as the baby was about to be born, his mother died of illness and his wife died in childbirth. Unable to cope with the great pain, William became addicted to drugs to numb himself. He knew that he could not take care of the child with his current condition, so he had to leave the child at the door of a firehouse in pain. He didn't just walk away, but after learning that the child had been taken to a white couple by firefighters, he often hid and watched them. After making sure they were good people, he was willing to leave, until one day, the child's adoptive mother came to the door. She wanted William to give the child a name. William handed her one of his favorite books. She promised William that she would see Randall as her son, but she pleaded with him to stay out of Randall's life. Thus, William endured 9 years of longing until he met Randall's foster mother again on the street. He told himself that he was a fool to interfere with other people's lives, but he couldn't help but take action. With the last $10 on him, he followed him to Randall's house, but he stopped at the door, knowing that if he went up and knocked on the door now, he could definitely identify with his son, could give him every birthday, could watch him graduate, get married and have children, could be present at every important moment in his life and witness his growth. But William didn't do that because he saw the 3 bicycles parked on the lawn by the door. I didn't know would bite more. I didn't know whether yours was number 1, number 2, or number 3. I figured one of them was your nickname, but a nickname that I didn't know. For my life I had nothing to do. How many adventures that you had with your brother and sister, and who was I to insert myself into your life against your brother's wishes? This is the contradictory life of this father. And after hearing this, Randall was relieved. In fact, from the moment he met his biological father, his inner resentment had dissipated. It's just that God left him little time. William had 1 week left to live. William was dying, and he was saying goodbye to his 2 granddaughters. With the warm morning light on his face, Randall took him with him on a road trip. The first stop for father and son was to pay their respects at their father's resting place. Thank you for doing what I couldn't, for raising him to be the man he is. I would have liked to have heard that laugh. The second stop was a fast food restaurant that William used to go to when he was young. They ate a delicious burger together and greeted their old friend. The third stop was a barbershop, where William told Randall that when he was a kid, an old grandfather would always scare him, saying he would cut off his ears for the rest of his life. The barbers laughed at this comment. It certainly ages Jerry Cush. The fourth stop was to meet relatives they hadn't seen in decades, and William introduced a whole bunch of them to Randall. They sang together at the end of their lives. It's nice to be able to do that. At the last stop, the hospital, William had only a few hours left. At this moment, Randall realized how much he loved his father, whom he hadn't seen in 36 years. William called Randall to his side and asked him to take out something he had in his bag, which was a book of loose poems called Poems to My Son. The paper was yellowing. He had written these poems for 36 years, and each word represented a night when he missed Randall. I haven't had happy life of all motion could have. Someone call it sad, but I don't. It's the two best things in my life. But the person in the very beginning and the person at the very end. Randall cried, and for the first time he called out to William's father. He stroked his face with his hands like a child, feeling the warmth of his son's hands. At the end of his life, William recalled the best moments of his life, recalling the hatred that made Randall treat William that way when they first met. At that moment, love overcame all.